Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show, You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Justin MIRIGLIANI, your host, as I am every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. And we'll address the elephant in the room right off the bat. Why am I wearing a hat? Well, yesterday I was catching for my daughter. She was pitching and took a fastball to the head. So figured I'll just cover the lump. You know how in the cartoon when Jerry, the mouse, hits Tom over the head with the hammer and the lump just grows like immediately? It happens. That's not a cartoon. That actually happens. I know it does. It happened to me yesterday. And the funny thing was, the day before I was playing hockey with some NHL players and other amateur players who are really good monsters. I mean, guys that are bigger than me, and didn't get hurt. Skated without a helmet for warm-ups like I usually do, and everything was fine. I hit by my 13-year-old the next day. So life's funny, isn't it? So this week's topic, and I hope people chime in on this, is forgiveness. I know that it's one of the toughest things to do. It's one of the most powerful things to do, and yet not all of us can do it. And those who can do it sometimes can only do it at certain times, and then at other times they can't. And I want to start off with probably something that some people won't agree with, and that's okay. It's because when we're talking about religion and what we believe, we don't have a copyright on that, and we don't have exact answers on that. We believe what we think we believe, and that's what people should do. They should. But I'm gonna throw something out there that I learned from my parents that I wonder if would resonate with other people. And it's a story of the prodigal son. And the story of the prodigal son, who people who don't know that story, people who are maybe not Christian or just haven't heard that story, is when there was a man who had a huge amount of money, and he had two sons, and before he died, he gave his sons a lot of their inheritance. Before he died, he decided to do it ahead of time. And one son got all the money and stayed with him and took care of him and did all the chores with him. And the other son took it and took out women and drank and spent the money on things that were really not, well, I wouldn't say not appropriate, but were wasteful and things that were just not of value much. I mean, just prostitutes and alcohol again and things like that. So finally, he ran out of money, which inevitably that happens if you do stupid things with money, which everybody knows that. I mean, we've all heard of people who do crazy things with money and then wind up wondering, how did I lose this? You know, you wonder how somebody who made $100 million becomes a pauper. Well, you know, mistakes, right? So he made a lot of mistakes, and by the end of the time that he had his lost all his money, he went to a pig farmer and or a farmer, I guess, and there was he was asked to feed the pig slop, and that was his job, to try to make a little bit of money to get back on his feet again. And he was pouring the slop for the pigs. And in the story, it talks about how he was jealous of even the pigs that they were getting the slop. He was so hungry that he couldn't afford to feed himself, and he just yearn for even a little bit of the slop that the pigs were getting. So he was desperate. I mean, this is a man who wanted to eat essentially garbage just to stay alive, residual food, leftover food that was thrown away for pigs. And he finally got up enough courage to walk back to his father's house. And here's where the story, a lot of people end the story. They say the father, the moral of the story is that you could always go back home and that the father will forgive you if you apologize. If you come back and you're sorry, the father will forgive you. And I don't think, and from what I've learned from very spiritual people, is that really isn't the moral of the story. The moral of the story is this: the father ran to the child, to the kid who had given up, blown away all that money. Now, think about it. That father, as he saw his son walking back to the house, how did he know that he was there to apologize for what he did? How did he know that he wasn't there to ask for more money? Now, he did apologize to the father, and the father did forgive him. And his father threw him a party and said, "My son was dead, and now he's alive." And that is what people take away from the story, that if you are remorseful, then you are forgiven by God, or whatever you want to believe in, whatever you call the higher power. And I don't see that story that way at all. I see that story as, it doesn't matter if you're sorry or not, you're already forgiven. It's the Father, God, whoever you want to call him or her, is, or universe, whatever it is, has already forgiven you for what you've done. See, I don't believe there's a hell. I don't believe in a lake of fire. I just don't think that's possible, because I look at it this way, and I figured this one out on my own. I didn't need help with this one. This one was that take when the prodigal son, I didn't think of. That was something that my parents introduced to me at a younger age. But when I had my first daughter, I thought about the prospects of hell. And I remember looking at her and thinking about heaven and hell and thinking, man, we got a short amount of time on this earth. I mean, obviously, when you become a parent for the first time, you start to think about different things that you didn't think about before you were a parent. And when I looked at her in the bassinet, I remember thinking, man, in 100 years, it's a blink of an eye. All of this will be over. We'll all be gone. She'll even be gone probably. She won't be around 100 years from now. No, I didn't dwell on that. It wasn't like that was what I was thinking of the whole time. But the thought crossed my mind, and I remember not, just for a while having trouble reconciling that it's not permanent. Because everybody said you got her forever, and we don't have anything forever. Nothing's forever. And I was trying to struggle with that. But what I came up with was, I said to myself, is there a heaven and is there a hell? Because I was taught that there was a heaven and a hell. And I decided that there is a heaven, and that is all the good things that happen. And I decided that there wasn't a hell, that didn't exist. And here's why. I looked at that baby, Alexandra, and then my second daughter, Rebecca, and I thought the same thing. What could they possibly do at all that would make me want to hurt them? Anything. Could they set me on fire? Could they hit me with a car? Could they hit me in the head with a softball? What could they do that would make me stop loving them? And the answer was nothing. There's nothing that they could do. It's impossible. They could turn their back on me. They could hate me. They could burn my house down. They could burn me down. And I still wouldn't hate them. I would still love them. Now, if I can feel that, how is it possible that God couldn't feel that? It's impossible. It just doesn't. There's no logical sense. And look, if you're an atheist, if you don't believe, then that's one thing. But if you believe in God and a loving God, then his love is so much stronger than ours, that his forgiveness is complete, and it's it's there permanently. It's not something that is asked for, it's given. Now, is it good to ask for it? Sure. I mean, you should say you're sorry if you do something wrong, and it's okay to apologize to God and say, hey, God, I do it myself. Sorry I said that, or sorry I did that. And But I don't believe that I'm gonna be in a lake of fire for anything that I've done. I don't think anyone will be, and I include horrible, horrible people there. I mean, you might say, well, Hitler or Bin Laden or some of the worst people who've ever walked the planet, will they go to hell? I don't think so, because they're still God's child. Now, as a human being, can I forgive what they've done? No, I'm unable to. I'm not God, so I don't have to be able to. I should strive to be able to do that, but I can't. I'm unable to. If you hurt my kids, especially physically, I mean, emotionally, that's going to happen. I mean, they're going to break up with boys, and they're going to have relationship problems, and that's fine, and that's part of life, and I certainly can forgive that, and that is what it is. But somebody sent an inappropriate picture to my daughter, and I literally challenged him to a fight at the Cherry Hill Mall. Now I'm 50 years old. I shouldn't be getting in street fights, but he upset her so badly, and I could see her so upset that I didn't want to forgive anything. I just wanted to, for lack of a better term, beat the hell out of him. So, you know, and my whole point is that we fall short of this stuff, but we can still strive for it. Now, can I forgive a lot of things? Yeah, I think over the years I've forgiven people for things they've done that have been painful, that have rocked me, that have knocked me down or made me feel a certain way, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And I try to. I spent as I went through the last couple of years of serious depression. I started to forgive people from 30, 40 years ago from things that happened that I stopped talking to. Like a guy who uh, went together with my girlfriend right after we broke up, and I was like, I'm never talking to him again. I can't forgive that, and I just sent him a message and said, look, man, it's 30 years, it's 35 years, whatever, and let's just let it go. Let it die, and friendship's more important. And my political beliefs, I don't post them as much on Facebook. Now, if I think something is wrong, I'm going to post it, because you have to have a backbone, and you have to um, stick up for what you think is right. But if I have hurt somebody in the process of doing that, I apologized, and I actually apologized to a friend this weekend about that. We uh, were friends on Facebook, and he didn't like some of my political leanings, and I went up to him. I said, "Look," I said, I was a little bit over the top. I admit that I didn't wasn't as tactful as I should have been, and I want to apologize, and I hope we could be friends again. And I think that's more important." And he shook my hand, and we became friends again. I think that's there's a power to that. But the friend who had been going out with my ex-girlfriend at the time, this is going back 30 some years ago. Um, we had been, all three of us had been friends and going out as three friends to different places. We'd go to the movies, and he'd come with us, and they were friends, and I didn't see that coming. I thought, oh, I'm not a jealous guy. If I had a girlfriend, and or if I was still in my marriage, I don't have any worries. I mean, if the woman's going to leave, she's going to leave. I mean, there's not much you can do about it, except for take care of what you need to take care of as far as making her happy. But if she's going to go because she feels like going, then that's going to happen. Now, I didn't like it, but so anyway, it was something that wasn't right. I was wronged, and both parties, my girlfriend, and she had apologized to me way before that, and I accepted that apology. I was fine with it. I said, "Don't worry about it. You're 19 years old. I mean, these things happen." But when I called this or a message this guy friend, I said, "Can I talk to you? Can I call you?" And he gave me his number, and I called him, and his words to me were pretty powerful. He said, "You're really a man to be able to let me hear those words from your mouth to my ears. He said it means something, that it shows that what kind of character you have. And I was flattered by that. He said it shows character that you would be able to say those words to me and let me hear them. And he said that's really a gift, and he was really appreciative of that. And I said, yeah, I said, I'm thank you for accepting my reaching out, and just kind of letting it go, and that's what we did. But it's a very hard thing. I think we're so polarized right now, especially in this country, with left versus right, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, that people might be forgetting that the most important thing is forgiving people for what they've done to you, loving people, not necessarily agreeing with everything. I mean, there's certain things that I won't bend on, that I just won't bend on, whether somebody doesn't like it or not. It's the way it is in my head. Some things are just black and white, and that's the way they are. Some things are gray. There are some things that are gray. We were talking the other day about the philosophical question that the colleges ask all the time: would you shoot baby Hitler? That's a philosophical question that's been asked in millions of philosophy classes around the world. Would you shoot baby Hitler? And some people are immediately jump up and say, absolutely, I would shoot baby Hitler. Even though it's a baby, if I knew that what was going to happen, he was going to kill 6 million Jews, I would kill baby Hitler. And they're adamant that's the way it's got to be done. And then there's other people who will argue, well, wait a minute, it's a baby. Maybe you could change that person before they become the animal that Hitler became. And then there are people who don't know. There are people in the middle. They're like, well, yeah, I could see on the one hand, how could you shoot a little baby who didn't do anything yet? And then you have on the other hand, well, how could you let that baby live knowing that it's going to kill 6 million Jews and be a terror? Or if you want to use bin Laden as another case, would you shoot baby bin Laden? These are not easy questions to answer. And I think some people think it's black and white. It's not. These are gray areas. These are not easy areas. What do you forgive? Again, like certain things I can forgive. And then there's hypocrisy that goes along with this as well. Like, I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't necessarily believe in the death penalty. But if somebody killed one of my children, would I want to kill them or have them killed? Yes. So there's a guilt in my gut about, well, how could you say that you're against the death penalty, but if it's your child, then you are for the death penalty? And that spins around in my head. It's something that I can't just let go of. I think that's maybe what makes me is that I think too much about these things, and maybe it's too much. Maybe I should just forget about it and just not even think about it. But it doesn't work that way for me. I have these feelings, and I can't. It's very hard for me sometimes to reconcile them. I want to be a forgiving person in a lot of ways, and then there are other parts of me that want to be, I wouldn't say vengeful, but maybe vengeful will be the word. Yeah, I guess that's the word. If somebody hurt my family, yeah, I think I'd be vengeful. I would be. I look at somebody like Adam Walsh, the kid who was killed in 1981. He was beheaded by Otis Toole, and his father became John Walsh, who many people know put a lot of people behind bars because of what happened to his son. And he channeled his anger through uh, doing good things by putting away criminals. Um, but I saw the movie, and I've heard him speak, and he wrote a book called Tears of Rage, and that inside, if he had 2 seconds alone with Otis Toole, that he would have ripped his head off. He said it. He said, he just wanted a piece of him so bad. When he went to the jailhouse, that the only thing he wanted was the cops to let him in there, and the cops obviously were not going to do that. There's got to be some kind of legal. It can't have chaos. But I understand his anger. I understand his inability to forgive. And to this day, I don't think he has forgiven it. And I don't necessarily blame him. But do I give uh, props to people who are able to forgive things like that? Yeah, I think that's an incredible power to be able to do that. I admire that in people that can do it. But I don't look down on people who can't. I think that's where it stands. So let's take this commercial break. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about forgiveness and the power of forgiveness.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Steve Klein Art at steveklein.art.
My name is Steve Klein, born Manchester, England, 1953. My quest in my lifetime is to create artwork from my soul and the deepness within my wildest dreams and fantasies. In 2012, my heart stopped when I was given too much anesthetic for a minor knee operation, and this near-death experience took me to another multidimensional world, an out-of-body experience, and I was given the gift of being blessed by an overwhelming, burning passion to become, for the very first time in my life, an artist with an eternal, passionate desire to bring my art, which I've named multidimensional, subliminal, freeform art, to the world, as only 3% recover from what I experienced, and now in my golden years want to release my cosmic, vital energy through my art to allow people to be a part of my cosmic dance.
To learn more, email roccogoodwine@gmail.com. For VIP pricing, mention USA Global TV and Radio.
All right, anybody wants to chat in, please do. We don't have anybody chatting today, but hopefully we have people streaming. There's Robert Thomas. Thanks, Robert. He said, looking good. Yeah, with my lump on my head. So some may argue, and thank you, Robert, for always being there. I really appreciate that. I'll remember that. Some would argue that, well, maybe the fact that John Walsh, as we were talking about before the break, maybe him not forgiving was a good thing because he put so many people behind bars. He used his anger and he uses an inability to forgive to do good. All right, fine. But then there's the argument of, if you don't forgive, does it chew you up? Because there is a cathartic part of forgiving people. There's the part of letting go the anger, the burning, the internal churning of your stomach about things that happened, even if it happened 40, 50 years ago. I'm 50 years old. So, for me, 40, I can remember about 55, 57 years ago. I'm talking, what am I saying? 47 years ago. When I was 3 or 4, those are my first memories. So I can remember back about 47 years total. But things have happened since then, obviously, over the last my 50-year lifetime. That if I thought about it enough, I concentrated on it enough, yeah, it would burn me up. But it was therapeutic when I forgave this friend from college, and my ex-girlfriend and other people who I did things to. When they forgave me, it felt good. It was cathartic because there were things that I thought of and I thought, man, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I hadn't been that way. I wish I had been kinder. I wish I had been more thoughtful. I wish I wasn't as adamant about things. I think part of what makes me successful in life is I have a tremendous amount of passion. And I've said this before, if I'm passionate, I have a chance to succeed. It doesn't guarantee success at all, but it gives me a chance. If I have no passion, it's not going to work. I'm not going to be successful. There's no chance. So the only way I'm ever going to be successful in anything is to have passion. And again, it doesn't guarantee it, but it's the only way I know how to do it. When I go to the gym, it's full bore. I got to go full bore. There's no, well, I'm going to do my workout today. I don't do that. I just can't do that. I don't have that button. Or I'm going to work on my business a little bit. I don't have that button. Or I'm going to help this person out. People are like, well, you're always so helpful. If I ask you to do something, you do it, and then you go above and beyond. That's just, that's the type A personality. That's just the way it is. And I don't have that go slow button. I just don't. Which can be an interference with forgiveness, because sometimes the passion is so strong that I just blurt out or say things that might be offensive to people, where that's not really what it's meant to be. It's more of, how could you think this, or how could you believe in something like this that's, seemingly off the wall. And I have to learn how to temper that and calm that down, so I don't have to forgive so often, or apologize so often, and say to people, I'm really sorry. That's not what I meant to say. What I meant was, but at the same time, not compromise my own values and what I really believe in. There are things that um, that I will never be able to shake as a core principle or core value. That's just going to be part of me. And when people challenge it, that'll irk me. And I guess you got to pick your spots. You got to decide when it's time to say something, and when it's time to keep your mouth shut. And you know, I heard people talking about kids, coaching kids, and I wasn't part of the conversation, but one of the coaches was laughing about how, one of the kids that he had on his team was so bad one night that he told him, just take off your gear and go home. And he was laughing. He thought that was really funny. And I felt a surge of anger go through me. Like, I put myself in that kid's position, how embarrassing that must have been for him. And I put myself in the position of the father. Like, they would need like 6 security people to hold me back going at it after I'm at the bench, because I mean, to do that to somebody is just so reprehensible. I mean, it's if that were my kid and I would know what that kid felt. I, I I I don't know if I would be able to restrain myself. I'm not saying I would hit him, but I would, run towards him and tell him off, and let him know, what I thought about him. Would I feel sorry about that? Would I forgive? Would I forgive him for that? I don't know if I could. Would I apologize for it? Absolutely not. Not at all. I think certain things are within the realm of, it's okay to be angry and tell people, that you are. But even listening to the story and hearing it, and this guy laughing about it with a friend of his about, oh, remember that night, I told him to take all his stuff and drive home, and they were laughing, and internally I was burning up. I could feel the surge of anger, because I am an empath, and I can put myself in that position. And I thought of that kid, and I thought of me as that kid, and what it would have felt like, and how embarrassing it would have been. And I thought about what it would have been like if it was my son and I was in the stands, or my daughters and I was in the stands, and somebody pulled that and told he or she to go home. And I would be pretty angry. And again, I wouldn't be violent, because you can't. It's not a vigilante society that we live in. But I sure as hell would make sure that he would know that I wasn't happy about it, and I would pull my child off the team. And Robert Thomas makes a good point. Forgiveness is for you, not them. That is a really good point, Robert. It is. It is. It does help you, because that's the kind of stuff that it eats you alive. Anger is really tough to deal with. I mean, it really can make you physically sick, and it can make you mentally. It's damaging. It takes away your ability to recover from you working out and going to the gym or playing sports. Your ability to concentrate. It's so hard to do when you're angry, and I know that because I do have a temper. And people say, "Oh, you're so calm and quiet." Yeah, well, you see that, but do you not think that people on TV, or people who are psychologists, or people who are out, actors or actresses, do you think that the demeanor that they show you is always the demeanor that you're going to see? No. Do I have moments where I flip out? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Now, does that involve injuring other people? Nah, not at all. Have I broken stuff? Absolutely. I'll tell you right now. Now, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. I mean, usually it's calculated. It's usually something that's already half broken that I just finish it off. So I think about it like I don't break something that's worth like $500 and just shatter it or throw my phone and break my phone. So maybe it's a hockey stick that's cracked and ready to go anyway. I might snap it over my knee because I'm angry. So there is some method to it. There's a calculation to letting go of some of that energy. Or I'll go punch the heavy bag. I'll go hit the heavy bag or put on the Oculus and box and fight in the boxing game and do that to try to get the energy out. People might say that's counterproductive. People might say that's productive. I don't know. But at the end of the day, forgiveness is the way to go. And again, I want to go back to the whole part of, as we have about 10 minutes left, and I just want to finish this with the real important part of this message, that with God, or again, whatever you want to call the higher spirit, if you believe, it's not a matter of asking for forgiveness. It really isn't. It's already granted. It's before it's happened. It's already granted. Because when he saw that kid walking down the road and he ran out and said, "My son is back home," he had no idea what that son was going to say at all. That kid could have said, "Dad, I need more money. Give me more money. I know you have more. I blew my share. I need more." But he didn't. But the father didn't know what he was going to say at all. The father had no idea that he was going to apologize. He was forgiven before the apology. And that's what people miss with the story. That's the part of the story that gets overlooked, is that the apology didn't happen until after the father had already forgiven. So I think we're forgiven no matter what we do. I don't think anybody goes to hell. I don't believe in a lake of fire. Now, does that mean there are no repercussions when you die? No, I think there are repercussions. And a lot of spiritual people that I know, including my parents, we've talked about this, and maybe, and I can't give you an ironclad answer on any of this stuff, really, but maybe what it is you got to live what you've done. Maybe Bin Laden's got to feel what it's like to be in a burning building and has to know what it feels like to be in that panic situation on a plane, or has to feel what those people felt for a while before he's allowed to repent and go into heaven. And maybe that's what it is, because I don't think God loses anybody. Again, I'm unable to get there. If you ask me, am I glad Bin Laden is dead? Yes, I am glad Bin Laden is dead, or that Hitler died. I wasn't even alive, but if he were alive today, would I be glad that Hitler died? Yes, he'd be off of Earth and unable to hurt anybody else. I would be happy about that. I would not mourn. I would not feel sad. I would not feel remorse. Nothing. I would feel, in some ways, glee, to be honest. But and that's probably not a great way to be, but for the damage that they've done, it's hard to overlook. But again, I'm not God, so I think that God sees that differently. I think he sees it as, these are my two sons who did horrible, horrible, horrible things, but I'm not going to torture them. Because again, when my kids were born, I thought to myself, what in the world would they do, or could they do, to make me hate them or hurt them or beat them? I never once spanked my kids. I never pulled their hair. I never slapped them on the wrist. Nothing. I've never physically hit my kids. Never. Now, it doesn't mean I didn't discipline them. And then you get some rocket scientists who say, well, then you're not a good father because you didn't discipline your kids. That's not true at all. There's no, the studies have been done. Hey, Rachel's here. Good to see you, Rachel. Studies have been done that spanking really doesn't work. Now, I came from old school South Philly. That was the staple. The answer to everything was crack your kid with a bat, or not in the head, but like in the rear end, or with a ruler, or the nuns would do that in school, hit you on the knuckles. All that stuff is just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. All it does is shows that violence is the answer to bad behavior. And we have a comment from Rachel. Let's see what Rachel's comment is. is good. Recently, I had to forgive someone unforgivable things, and I feel better. I feel better that it shows in my demeanor and has changed my life. I agree that not forgiving eats you up. I cannot forgive. If I cannot forgive, I'll give it to God. That's a great way to look at it. That's a great way to look at it. And I know that there are a lot of us who have felt things that are seemingly unforgivable. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people do things to friends of mine that I look at it and I can't forgive what they did, and I don't even know them. And I wouldn't even shake their hand if they were in the same room. And I never do that. I mean, I'm usually the guy that's like, hey, how are you? Like try to make people feel welcome. But there are some people that have hurt my friends that have done things, and I don't even know the people, husbands or wives or all their friends. And even though I don't even know them, if I met them, I wouldn't even spend 2 seconds saying hello to them. Now, that's my problem. I have to live with that. But that's just the way I feel. I just don't have. I guess my point is give yourself some grace. You are going to be the more you can forgive, the better. But when you can't, it's not an indictment on you that you're a bad person, that you're unable to do it. You're not perfect. You're human. And part of being human is you can't be perfect at all these things. You can't be somebody who can overlook everything. There are going to be some things that leave scars. One more thing as we're getting close to the end of the show is I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and she said she can't date again until her scars heal. And I said to her, but your scars won't heal. That is the healing. Scars don't heal. Scars are the healing. That's the mark. That's the badge of honor. If you're waiting for scars to heal for anything, whether it's for a relationship or if it's for business or anything else, you'll wait forever. They're not going to heal because they're scars. I have surgical scars. They're not going away. I got scars from playing hockey. I got scars from falling and outside on the cement and getting cut. And scars from when I got stitches and things like that. And the last time I had stitches, honestly, I've been pretty lucky. Watch, I'll wind up with stitches this week probably. But the last time I had stitches was in 1993. And that scar is still in my hand. It's still there. If I wait for that to heal, I'll wait forever. It's not going anywhere. So that's part of forgiveness too. If people have scarred you, I'm not telling you that the scar is going to go away. I'm not telling you that the thought of it's not going to hurt once in a while. But can you get beyond it? Can you get to the point where you can forgive it and make yourself free of the anger? Do it the best you can. You're not going to be perfect at it. Again, you're looking at me. I have a microphone. I'm on television. You look at a doctor. You look at somebody who is in the limelight, much higher than I would be, or much higher than let's say a major celebrity, and they'll tell you one thing, but that doesn't mean they're always doing that one thing. That means that's what they believe, but it doesn't mean that they always practice what they preach. Nobody does. So if you think that you're looking at perfect people anywhere, you're wrong. You're not. You're not. So yeah, I'm telling you to forgive. I'm telling you that that's God's way. That's what God wants you to do, or your higher power wants you to do. And if you can do it, that's great. It's going to be therapeutic for you, and it's good for them too. But if you're not perfect at it, don't beat yourself up. Have forgiveness for yourself, because you know that you're going to make some mistakes. So as we're coming up to the end of the show, we're going to end with the as we always do, with the little commercial that we do on the hockey game. So remember, August 23rd, we're coming up. We're going to run this little commercial in the hockey game that we're having, the NHL celebrity game, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll end the show.
Hey everybody, I just want to tell you how thankful I am that you came out tonight and helped us out on a very special evening. Crohn's and colitis are terrible diseases, and they affect a lot of people, not only in the Delaware Valley, but all over the world. And hopefully we can find a cure someday.
Kevin Owen here with you at the Checkmates versus the Flyers alumni. We had a great time this afternoon. Game was close, and we're all here for Checkmates Charities, which is the real reason that everybody's here, not only the players, but all the fans that were here. It was a great day, and we're really happy to be here.
It was fun to be out here at Northeast Skate Zone because the Checos were a pretty good team, and so we had a lot of fun with the charity.
And it was good because they took it easy on us old guys. So we had a good time. So anytime you can do something for charity, and I know a couple guys on the other team, and just be on the rink, we all go have fun.
Good times go. I'm either gone in an instant or here to the bitter, and I never know what I got.
I want to thank my family for all that they did to help me get through this, and there's a lot of planning that get done. It has to get done. I want to thank Nick's Roast Beef and Cotman Avenue for all they've done. Dr. Prieto for saving my life, finding the disease and treating me for so long, and the Flyers organization for all they do to help us raise money every year. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. So that is August 23rd. I already talked to this weekend Kerry Frazier, one of the greatest referees in the history of the NHL. He's going to be there with his son. Oh, comment from Rachel. Rachel, please. Let's see your comment. My offering for the auction, the Mark Recchi stick still stands. Oh, that's great, Rachel. Thank you so much. And she got an autographed baseball by Jim Eisenreich, Kevin Stocker, and Michael Mims. Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that a lot. If anybody would like to donate any materials, any collectibles that you would, flyer collectibles, that would really be helpful. We need corporate sponsors. It's getting to be crunch time. So we really need people to start stepping up and be corporate sponsors. We have large sponsorships, but I have smaller ones too. So for people who want to do a small sponsorship, we could do those as well. It doesn't have to be $15,000, which is the highest one. We have a $15,000 tier, a $10,000 tier, a $5,000 tier, but then we can do smaller ones as well. So if anybody's out there and they want to help us, it's for Crohn's and colitis of people with an ostomy. We got to help them. I need 1,000 people in that rink, and I need 750 people in that restaurant that night, August 23rd, 2025. Music, we're going to have dancing. We're going to have 2 artists come and play music. A friend of mine from college. We're going to have, it's just going to be a blowout. Celebrities galore. Mark Recchi's one of the players that are coming to play. NHL Hall of Famer. Brian Propp, Flyers Hall of Famer. Bernie Perron, NHL Hall of Famer, is going to come. Obviously, he's not going to play, but he'll be there to hang out. So 2-hour open bar. Come on. For $70, where are you going to get a 2-hour open bar and a full buffet, let alone with celebrities and Joe Conklin coming in to do a comedy skit? $70. Lauren Hart, she's going to be singing. There's Kerry Frazier. Ed Bernstein, one of the greatest lawyers in the history of the world. One time I called him. He told me, can I call you back? I'm at the inauguration for the president of Saudi Arabia. So this is somebody who is well known. So please come out as we end the show. One more time, please join us. We need as many people as we can at the Yard Pub after the game and at the Aston Iceworks. Go to www.checkmatescharity.com to see what it's all about and to buy tickets. And I have some surprises that are coming up. If you could donate, great. If you can also buy tickets, would be better. And if you can donate goods, memorabilia, that'd be wonderful too. All right, everybody, that's it for us for this week. I want to thank you again. Rachel, thank you for chiming in. And Robert, thank you for chiming in. And remember to forgive. And I will see you next week.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.